Are you stuck playing the same old chord shapes over and over again? Like G, C, D, A, and E? Well, they're great and all, and they get the job done, but they can start to sound a little boring after a while. You want your playing to sound as fresh and modern and as professional as possible. In today's video, I got a trick for you to do just that. So put those open chord shapes away and do this instead. Let's get into it. Instead of playing the same basic chord shapes, try moving your chords up the neck. These are called voicings or inversions. They make your guitar parts sound way more interesting and less predictable. Okay, so check out this basic G chord shape that we all know really well. Not bad, pretty standard. Now play that chord up the neck right here. Oh yeah, adds instant vibe and color to your playing. In today's video, I'm going to show you some super easy theory on how to actually slide guitar chords up the neck. Then I'm going to give you some really great new chord voicings for chords in the key of C. Then we're going to apply it to a real world song situation. So you can take your basic open chord shapes and slide them or move them up the neck. Whoa. Now how does that work, you might ask? Well, it all starts with the musical alphabet, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on, in that particular order. And that's how the chords would move. Between every chord, there's a distance of a whole step or a half step. Let's just say that all the notes are whole steps, except for between B and C and E and F, and those are half steps. So when I move a whole step on the guitar, I skip a fret. So D to E is a whole step, so I would move it like that. Now E to F is a half step, and you can see this also if you look on a piano keyboard. E to F is a half step, so I would move one fret away on the guitar. So E to F. Now F to G is a whole step, so I skip a fret. G to A is a whole step, and you can look on the piano, so I'd skip a fret. A to B is a whole step, so I skip a fret. And B to C is a half step, so I go one fret. So that gets me to C. So these inversions of shapes sound really cool. Now, I can take any chord and slide it up the neck. So let's take our A shape, and we're going to play it like this. Then we're going to add another A note right here. I have kind of a full sounding A chord. Okay, so now I can take that shape and slide it up the neck. So A to B is a whole step, so I skip a fret. B to C is a half step, so it's the next fret. C to D is a whole step, so I skip a fret. D to E is a whole step, so I skip a fret. E to F is a half step, so I go to the next fret. Then F to G is a whole step, so I skip a fret. Now this is giving me new, fresh sounding voicings that are really cool. So let's take that basic open C chord shape and move it up the neck to right here. Sounds brighter and more sophisticated. So here's how I did it. I took the A shape like I showed you before, and I just slid it up. A to B, whole step, B to C, half step, so it's right there. And I walked up the musical alphabet. So let's take another basic open chord shape, A minor, and we're going to move it up the neck and play it right here. And this time we're going to spice it up a little bit more by adding a seventh onto that. So we're going to add a G onto it. Oh yeah, really nice. So how I got that was I just took the E minor shape, E, F, G, A, and found it that way. And I just kind of take that off, and then I freeze this finger up to add some extensions. So that's a seventh extension. Beautiful. Okay, so let's take another chord shape in the key of C, F, and we're going to move that up the neck, and it's going to sound like this. Oh, nice. So how I got that was I took the D shape, and I went D to E, which is a whole step, so I skip a fret. E to F is a half step, so it's the next fret up, and I play it with these fingerings to free up these fingers to play more notes of the chord. I'm going to add that there and there. Beautiful. And And the last chord in the key of C that we're going to look at is the G chord. And we're going to move that up the neck to the same area, and it's going to sound like this. And how I got that was, I took that D shape again, and I went D to E, which is a whole step, skip a fret, E to F is a half step, so it's the next fret, F to G, a whole step, so I skip a fret, so it's right there. So that's the basic shape. Then I kind of altered it a little bit to make it sound more interesting. And so I'm playing the G note and then this shape, but I'm taking the top note off and playing an A, so it's another extension to the chord to make it sound prettier. So there you have it. Chords slid up the neck in the key of C to sound brighter and more sophisticated, making your playing sound way more professional. So these new chord voicings can come in really handy when you have like two guitar players playing at the same time. One guitarist can play the root chords, and the other guitar player can kind of complement the situation or the song by playing the chords up the neck. Or in a recording situation where you want to track multiple guitar parts, the guitar in the left speaker could be playing the root chords, and the guitar panned in the right speaker could be playing guitar chords up the neck. It'll sound huge. Earth angel, will you be mine? My dying dear, love you all the time. I'm just a fool in love with you. Okay, so here's your challenge. Pick your favorite chord progression and find one new chord voicing for each chord in the progression. Play around with sliding the chords up the neck, and don't be afraid to experiment. That's how you go from sounding like a beginner playing cowboy chords to a pro. See you in the next one.